Hi everyone, it's Dr. Helen here. So for this episode of my video or blog, I thought I'd talk about why doTerra. Why did I choose essential oils, and why did I choose doTerra? Because it's something that comes up quite a lot and people wonder. And so I thought I'd give you a bit more of the background of the whole process that it took really several years for me to arrive at this point. So I'm Dr. Helen, and I'm an A&E doctor and an advocate for integrative wellness, as well as an animal aromatherapy specialist. I love to use essential oils to support the health and well-being of myself and my pets, and help educate people to do the same for their family, whether that's human or animal. So if you like what you're listening to, please hit the subscribe button or follow so I can carry on creating more content. And let me know in the comments what you want to know about. Now, would you like to get essential oils into your life? Why not book in for a free chat with me, or come to one of my classes to find out how oils can support you? Or maybe you've got oils but don't know how to use them best for either your health or that of your pets. Well, that's okay, because I can help you with that too, as I do general overviews and full consultations depending on your needs. So drop me a message and we can chat about what the best option is for you. So, essential oils. So I actually started using essential oils about, goodness me, probably quite a few years ago. But I didn't really know that much about it. I wanted to actually make my own skincare, because I was buying some really high quality products that were natural. But I wasn't really happy with what was going on with my skin. They were super expensive. And then the company sold out and were taken over by another company who experimented on animals. So it just didn't fit with me at all. So I started looking into how to make my own. And so I needed to get some essential oils to put into my little concoctions. And I remember posting on Facebook, and in actual fact, it was the anniversary of that post. I think it was about last weekend, weirdly, but I posted on Facebook saying, oh, I want to use some essential oils for my skin, and who can advise me, because I just don't know what to choose, what oils to choose, because I'd looked on Amazon, because obviously that's where you look, and there was just this huge array of prices and things, and I was like, I just didn't know. And what's weird is I've actually got a lot of friends on my Facebook who do a lot with essential oils, and nobody gave me any information. And so I was like, I don't know what to do. So I started trying to research it, and I thought, well, I'll get something that's sort of middle of the road in price, because there wasn't really any clarity. So started using these products, and then obviously these oils, and then started making my own products. And then as time's gone on, I've learnt more and more, and then I started getting into thinking about using essential oils for my pets, and became again more concerned, because I have quite a low tox household ever since my beautiful dog Toffee, back in maybe 2005, started having allergies. So, I've always been really careful and mindful what I use around the home. So obviously essential oils are very concentrated. So I wanted to be really careful that I wasn't using anything that could have come from a plant that had where pesticides had been used and things like that. Now, around that time as well, I was getting a little bit disillusioned with medicine. So in medicine, we are very reactive. And I love my job. I love working as an emergency medicine doctor, but it's reactive. And I really wanted to do something which was preventative as well. And I'd really started to get into nutrition and look at some other healing modalities as well. But there were a number of drawbacks, because not least, online stuff wasn't as sort of prevalent then, because obviously it all blew up, didn't it, with COVID. But I started to look at different things I could do, and I was very into biofield tuning, which is an energy healing modality with tuning forks. But I don't have a room in my house that I could have people to for therapies. I definitely didn't want to do it mobile, because it just wasn't going to be cost effective for me. And I'd also qualified as a canine massage therapist at that time as well. And so everything I sort of kept thinking I'd like to do that, there was too many barriers to actually doing it as a business. But also there was something that didn't truly, fully, completely align with me. And when I started hearing about using essential oils with pets, I was actually at a conference, and there were two speakers there talking about essential oils with pets. And I literally was like, a light bulb moment went off in my head. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is what I want to do. And I just absolutely, because it just, all the science, the chemistry, it all just resonated with what I feel very strongly about, work in medicine. Now, as I looked around and I was learning more about what oils I could use for my pets, and looking at the, different, how to do this as a business, there was still a number of barriers. Now, the first one is, quite frankly, I was skint. student loans, credit card debt. You know, everyone thinks doctors are loaded. Truly, we are not. You know, emergency medicine doctors especially not. And you know, I just didn't have, you know, when you start a business, that's a lot of money down. And so I was like, well, what, you know, this isn't really gonna work. And you know, when you actually look at something like network marketing or direct selling, money down is minimal. All you have to pay, or a good network marketing company, I should say, all you pay is for the products that you're going to use. So doTerra, you know, it was great. I could get a kit that I was going to use for all my pets, and at the same time, it would qualify me to be able to start having a business. And the other thing that was really great about it was actually the drop shipping. Now, I am not a very organized person at all. And so the thought of having to get some sort of samples and packages and go off to the post office every week to post parcels out, and I had nowhere to fit anything in either. I mean, I live in a 3-bedroom house, but I have 6 dogs. I have no room. So it was just not, you know, it was not going to work for me because I didn't have the storage. And like I said, I didn't have the money down, because to have stock, you need an awful lot of, you know, of money down as well. And then there was the organization. Now, as I was looking at all of these options, I was also looking into the actual quality of essential oil. So I'd looked at quite a few essential oil companies that required you to get stock and things like that. And I did have a number of concerns, and I'd sort of read their blogs and things, and I'd be like, oh, this is really good. And then I'd read something on the blog, and I was like, no, that doesn't resonate with me. It doesn't resonate at all. And obviously at this time, I'm also learning about using them with animals. So there were more and more concerns there. And I kept coming back to doTerra, and I kept circling back going, oh yeah, but doTerra's got like a medical and veterinary panel, and they do all these tests, not on animals. You know, I've been anti-vivisection for a lot of years now, over 30 years. And doTerra committed to never testing on animals. And so I kept coming back to doTerra and the purity, quite frankly, and their oils and the scientific tests that they do on them. And I just kept looping back. You know, I'd go and look at another essential oil company, and I'd come back, and then I'd think, well, this is great because it's direct selling and I don't have to put loads of money down. They've got this vet panel, this medical panel. They have really high standards because of, you know, their stuff's written about, their stuff's used in clinical trials. It's used in hospitals. It's used by doctors. They have this, they have the money to do all this, these tests for purity, you know. And I was just really, really impressed. And then I would be reading something else about another company, and then I'd think, oh, hang on a minute, and then I'd come back to doTerra, do a little bit more. And another thing that was really important to me was that they were ethical, because I've traveled a lot. I was a flight attendant for many years, and so I traveled a lot around India as well. And you know, people in some of the factories there that produce goods for the West, oh my God, they are so badly paid. They are not looked after. The health and safety is atrocious. I lived in Dubai in the 90s. Again, it's a huge problem. And I believe very firmly that as a consumer, that we must make sure that the people who are producing the products or harvesting the products that we are eating are paid fair wage and not treated shabbily and all this. And this is something that doTerra does. This is a huge thing. This is their co-impact sourcing, and they literally go and help communities. And I was just listening at the convention, well, I was on the online convention, and they were talking about taking rosemary plants to Kenya because they'd worked out that they would grow really well in Kenya, and so they had to get the rosemary plants to Kenya because they wanted to find another source of income for the Kenyans. And all these rosemary plants, in the first lot of them, they just died. They didn't even get into the ground. And then the next lot, 4 plants actually survived, and that's actually the rosemary stock. It's amazing what comes out of just 4 plants. But they are so passionate about supporting communities. The frankincense is a huge problem with essential oils because it's been so badly harvested that many of these trees have been stripped of all the resin, and it's not sustainable for generations to come. And doTerra, when they source from places, they do a lot of education about sustainability, which is so crucial if generations are still going to be able to have these plants to farm from. And the great thing as well, one of the places they source frankincense from is Somaliland. They've built a hospital there. The Healing Hands Foundation's built a hospital because the nearest hospital was like a 12-hour drive. There was no medical facilities. And this hospital, the Sanag Hospital, has got like an emergency department. It's got all the specialties. It's amazing. And this is what's so amazing about doTerra, that they go in and they support these communities, and they're ethical. Because one of the key problems as well with essential oil sourcing is most of it is with middlemen. So the farmers never deal with the people who are selling the end product; they deal with a middleman, and so they get their harvest, and then they have to take it to market, and then the broker will say this is a price, and it's often a different price to the one that was initially agreed upon. But the farmer has no choice, because he's either got to transport all the product back to his farm and get no money, or he has to take the reduced money. So the brokers have them over a barrel. doTerra changed all that, and they actually don't have middlemen. They deal directly with the farmer, directly at source. doTerra do all the transport. They literally collect all the harvest, and they pay the farmer within 24 hours. These brokers make the farmer wait between 6 months and a year for their money, and sometimes these farmers, it's their only source of income, and they're made to wait all that time for their money. It's absolutely appalling. And the other really key thing about it is talking about purity. Is 75%, independent sources have found out that about 75% of essential oils are actually adulterated in some way. So that might be with contamination, it might be with dilution, there can be pesticides. There's so many different ways they can be contaminated. And obviously you're using that product and then having that on your skin and inhaling it, particularly because there's no standard. So an oil can be labeled 100% pure, but it actually could just be 10% pure, because there's no standard, there's no regulations. And 70% of this adulteration actually happens with those middlemen, with the brokers. It's really bad. About 10% of adulteration happens at the distillation facilities, and then another 10% happens with the distributors, so the people who are actually selling the end product. And there's a 10% that people don't know where all that problem happens with. Now with doTerra, everything's tracked right from source, and on the bottom of every bottle there's a batch number, and you can go to source2u.com, put in the batch number, and it will give you the full chemical profile. So this is crucial if you are using an essential oil for your health or for your pets, or just to rub on your skin or whatever. There's nothing nasty in there. Okay, it is just just what you want it to be in there, and it's the chemical profile that gives you those benefits, because it's not about the smell. The oils smell amazing, but it's actually the chemical structure in there that gives us those benefits, and that's what you want in the oil. And doTerra is the only company that actually releases all this information to the public. And if you ever, you can email companies and ask them for the GCMS. That's a really good. doTerra do so many other tests as well, but the GCMS is sort of one that's globally recognized, and ask a company for the GCMS. But sometimes what they'll do is they'll send you the GCMS of the oil they've purchased, but not of the finished product. So you have to make sure you get it of the finished product. And I'm always saying this to my animal aromatherapy clients, because you just, especially animals are so sensitive. You do not want to be using anything with contamination, because obviously it's massively multiplied anyway in an essential oil. If it's had a pesticide on a plant, it's multiplied in an essential oil. And then it's even worse for your pets, because they're much smaller and they're far more sensitive. So how everything's done is absolutely crucial. And like I said, they're supporting all the communities. They've provided medical facilities. They provide, they've built pipelines in Haiti and things like that. It's just, it was something that was so important to me as I started to look at all these different things to go into a company that I would align with. And every so often I'd go off and I'd read about something else, and then I'd find something else I didn't like, and I'd come back, and it was doTerra all the time. Everything, ticking the box, doTerra. And that was before I'd even got to the commission. That was even before I got to that point. Now, I'd been in network marketing before. So when I was a medical student, I was with another network marketing company, and I used to do makeup. They used to sell other products, but the makeup was pretty much what I used to do. And I used to do bridal makeup. And I used to do actually makeup for the local transsexual and transgender community. And it was lovely. And I made so many beautiful friends there, and did this for quite a few years. But my heart and soul wasn't really into network marketing then. And I was doing my medical exams and things like that. So I didn't really carry on. But I already had an idea of how it worked. Now, the problem with a lot of commission structures is the people on the bottom don't get much commission, and as you get up, you get more commission. And that was certainly the case with the network marketing company I was with initially. And I made my money up really by what I charged to do makeups for brides, and at the local transgender transsexual club, and like little other things I'd do there as well. So I'd make my money up that way. But with doTerra, they've got a really great little commission scale where even when you're just starting, you can actually earn good money. You don't have to wait till you reach the higher levels to get a good income. You can actually make it right at the start. So it's really genius how they've done it. And that makes a massive difference, because that was one of the reasons I ended up stopping doing the makeup after, I think I'd done it for a couple of years. It just wasn't bringing me in enough money. And I actually went to work, even with the consultations that I did for the makeup, I just really wasn't making enough money for the amount of time I was actually putting in. And I was working at B&Q at the time, and B&Q minimum wage job actually ended up paying me more money for the time I put in. And so doTerra's not like that at all. So when I I came back, so I knew how, network marketing went, and then I looked at the commission, and it was just every single box was ticked. Every single box. And I kept going away because I kept thinking, well, do I want to get into network marketing again? I don't know. Every single box was ticked. And so I decided to go into it, and I've never regretted it. I've never regretted it. I started my business about 4 or 5 months before lockdown. And, obviously that was such a difficult time for everyone. But my business did really well, because what I actually wanted to do was have a business online. It worked out perfectly. And there's so many brilliant opportunities. And I've met such amazing friends. I work with some brilliant healthcare professionals with the oil medics. We do lots of little events together. And it's just been an absolute blast. So I would honestly, recommend anyone looking into it, do check out the opportunity. If you want to see about aligning with me and have me mentor you and join my team, come and have a chat. You don't have to commit to anything, but just come and have a chat. Find out all the information. That's the key. It actually took me nearly a year from first hearing about doTerra to actually signing up. And I looked and I looked and I did my research. Ask questions, find out more, see if it aligns with you. It's not an opportunity for everyone. Not everyone wants to have a business like this. Not everyone can be self-motivated. Everyone is different in what they're passionate about. But if you think this is a fit with you, then do let me know. And you don't need to know anything about essential oils. When I first started, I knew nothing. And I remember doing my first pet class. I really researched it because I knew the oils that I was using for my dogs. And I had my little book. And it was actually somewhere, it was actually at a venue. And I sat with my book on my lap and I read. So you really don't have to, you can start anywhere. And I am always there to support you as well, because for my team, I do classes for them as well. But I also, they also do classes, and then they'll come to me with questions, and we have mentoring every week. And it's all about, because we all grow by helping others. And it's the same with my crossline for the oil medics. Our businesses are not linked in any way, shape or form, but it's all about being supportive of each other, and then you can grow while you're helping each other as well. So let me know. Do hit follow, do hit subscribe if you like what you hear. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to learn about what you'd want to learn about as well. And do get in touch with me if you'd like to find out about building a doTerra business, and see if we're a fit. We can have a chat, see if we're a fit to work together, because that's the most important thing. Stay safe, everyone. Stay well. Bye.